trying to do what they said that we couldn't do. Oh yeah.
Welcome to Elevate Talk. Maz, Shamar, Elise, episode 2 here, and we're going to dabble into some of the topics we have planned, more into the e-commerce side, more into product designs, and also the mindset of when to know when to quit and progress into that next thing.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of kick us off here because I know in that last podcast we did, the way that we had ended it, Maz had left us off with a few really good points on how he had actually been dabbling in a few different business ventures prior to starting here at First Health. So kind of wanted to dive more into that topic and to what he was just saying, you know, when did you know you had to pull away from the other ventures and go all in on First Health?
So the other ventures that I was doing back then was mostly stock trading and finishing up university. I did a degree in business. So the final year is when First Health started, and it was really nothing. I lost my train of thought, to be honest.
You were in university, you were doing stock trading.
Yeah, I was in university, I was doing stock trading, and it wasn't working out. So, and I knew that it was money driven as well. And one thing that I did want to do as I was growing up is create a company and brand, but I knew it was the hardest thing to do, so I never got around that. But anyway, like I started with just a product, which was dopamine back then, a nootropic supplement. And I just wanted to see if I could do it. So it's not that I fully quit on the other things, I was still kind of like doing them, but it was just the next thing to start because this wasn't working. So I think that's what I did pretty much the whole time is do one thing, do it for 5 months, 6 months, see how it's going, and if it's taking off, I continue doing it. If it's not taking off, I slowly get out of it and start the next thing because I had a list of things I wanted to do.
Yeah, so but how did you quantify when it wasn't doing enough or was doing well?
So definitely like the traffic that it's getting. Also like the First Health was probably like the second or third official website that we created or I created. The first couple times, like I didn't even know what to do. Like I just knew I needed to walk in the right direction. So starting off with like Shredsville, which I just went to the malls nearby here and they had a printing shop. So I just bought some like Gildan full sleeve stuff and I made a design on Photoshop with like the name and font, whatever, and then went to the print shop, got it printed with like basic ink, and then went to the gyms and just say, hey, the friends or whatever, like you want to buy $20, and I was competing back then as well, so hey, you can come wear it and like come to the show, and it did, so it was solid. But I knew it wasn't gonna go anywhere because the margins weren't there. So after doing that, went into the next thing, tried some other marketing strategies or helping people gain followers on social media.
You did stocks too?
Yeah, that came after. So made $50 here, $100 there, but like it wasn't like going anywhere, or like the program would get banned. Then I went into stocks. I spent so much time learning. I don't know if you guys have stock traded or crypto traded too, but just like I found there's this one guy called like Timothy Sykes on YouTube. Randomly found him like trading penny stocks, so I just downloaded a bunch of his stuff. Learn, spend time learning, understanding graphs, understanding market caps, like what the graphs represented, long term, short term, and then just kind of going from there. So I put like $500 initially in my account with I can't remember what the account was. One was with TD and another one I used as well, the local in Toronto. So then just went on, put some money into some penny stocks that I think would work or not work, lost some money, made $50, lost $20, but like I had to wake up at 9 a.m. every single morning to do that. I didn't like that. Like I felt like me doing that whole thing was still like controlling me, and my only reason of doing that and waking up in the morning was so I can get paid.
Okay.
So then that didn't work. Yeah, that didn't work either. Wanted to and that's towards the end of it where First Health started, because I always enjoyed the process of making a product, and I knew when I made that t-shirt Shredsville, like that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
So First Health started, and the first year, it was just like a couple supplements that I just started selling off the trunk of my car in different gyms and demos and stuff. And that's when I knew like this felt right the most. It made me happy. Like I want to continue doing this. It aligns with my values in life, which is fitness, health, building a community, building a lifestyle, leaving a life. And I saw the potential in it too of how much it can actually scale versus the rest of the things I was doing. So I'm like, in between that, I also was at RBC,
Yeah.
and I did that for my parents. Like for 2.5 months, I was an accounts manager. I hated it. I also wanted to see how my life is going to be like, as in the corporate. In a bank, like you went to a bank, you see what like it's dry as fuck.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that. I quit. I left everything else, and I went straight into First Health.
Okay. From all the different endeavors that you kind of pursued, wouldn't you say that all the things that you did were kind of a learning curve for First Health to some degree? Like you said that when you're doing stocks and you did growing Instagram accounts, it sounds like a lot of the things that you did on your journey to First Health were kind of like instrumental into you knowing how to do this.
Absolutely, and I think fitness goes with that too, because you go to the gym and like the first year you don't know what the fuck you're doing. There's a lot more bigger people around you, so you just go, you pick up with your first sets and you see where it goes. Then you show up the next day, then you show up the next day, then you learn a new exercise, then you get a buddy, and then from that you progress into becoming like the physique that you are now, which takes years. So for sure, I learned from every single thing I did in the past.
Yeah.
Would you say though that like obviously some of those things that you had started in the past, those different ventures, I feel like there was different purposes behind each of them though. Like you mentioned Shredsville, like you obviously enjoyed apparel and fitness, that was that, but there was no real money in there. But then when it comes to like the stock trading, you kind of looked at it as like an initial like financial gain, but there was no real passion. So seems like each of those two different things that I know those are just a few of the many things that you've done in the past, but those two specific things here that you mentioned, would you say that like there was a reason why like those failed and why this has succeeded? Yeah,
that's
so
a good
what
question
did you do
actually.
different?
I feel like to start off, I think all of them failed because my self-belief was not strong enough that I could actually do all of those things. So that's definitely number one of why First Health works, because I have like infinite amount of self-belief for this brand and the company, what we're building here. So other than self-belief, if I wanted to finance, like I didn't understand like money management very well, and nor did I have much funds to do it with. So it allowed me to test a lot of things and be creative with stuff, but where to put your money? Is it in Facebook ads? Is it in product? Is it in research, like designs? Like where do I exactly put it? So that I just had to kind of learn. That's why like Shredsville, whatever, didn't work. I was too young to know. The stocks didn't work because literally I was just looking at the money. Like I wouldn't say it's just money, because I really enjoy like understanding companies and what they bring, what kind of value, and how it spikes their charts as well. So that fascinated me, but it was all money driven, and I knew like this isn't ever going to be past just me. Like if I just did stocks, this would never be.
Yeah.
So I want to give out where like it's a whole team that we build, a community that pushes a lot more energy than just like me trying to trade stocks. I think it's a bigger impact there for sure. But that's also biggest fear, because I left that to the last thing, because I was low-key hoping that the other things work out so I don't have to do the hardest thing. But it came down that nothing else worked until I came to the hardest thing. And then I had no choice.
Yeah, so kind of your life kind of forced your hand to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the last play, you kind of said, right? So because it was the last play and it was kind of to some degree this or nothing, that's why you went the hardest. Would you say so?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't have a choice. And even going into like with my partner now, like I was with one partner, didn't work out, we're still cool, he went his way. Second partner came in, still with him. We're reading, chatted about everything, the structure of the business partnership, whatnot, found a middle ground that works, and where one person is a direct leader in the company as well. and we opened up a store, like a Popeye supplement type of store with First Health supplements. And COVID hit literally 3 days before the actual grand opening, so we had to close it down. Bro, we probably lost like $30,000 or $40,000 worth of product during the 2 years of COVID, and that was such a stressful time because I'm like, I have no backup plan, and COVID just hit. He put money, I put money. His parents lended us.
This was supplements, or
This was supplements. His parents lended some money, and then we are just trying to work this out. But the whole retail, like whole world, is shut down. So it's a super scary moment for me too. I'm like, what the fuck to do next? But that's when apparel came in, and I felt like when my back was against the wall is where shit like really started to kick in, and I got serious because I'm like, there's no plan B.
Yeah, and it may have been even refreshing because you said initially you did Shredsville and then you found fulfillment in clothes with Shredsville. So that kind of, when you deviated from supplements to clothing again, but First Health apparel, I'm assuming there was some sort of familiarity there.
Yeah, for sure. The familiarity for sure was how much I enjoyed making the t-shirt.
That's sick.
The whole process of that, like the design work that I put into it, and then what type of fabrics I'm gonna choose. I obviously didn't go that deep into it, but like looking back at it, I really enjoyed doing all of that, and then putting and giving it to someone, and it's like they're actually wearing it and like happy.
Yeah.
They feel confident.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, like. Clothing is such a crazy thing. Like supplements can't give you that feel. I feel like supplements you actually have to like sell why you should take a protein powder, which is another reason why I kind of stopped it for a while too. Like we had an awesome product we sold for a while. Margins were like decent, but it's a product you gotta sell to every person, and especially girls.
Yeah, you have to sell it. Yeah, whereas apparel kind of sells itself. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah. So as soon as like we put this on, we're like,
I
whoa,
like it.
like
I'm
this
gonna come
feels
back,
fresh.
yeah.
In the past, you said that Shredsville, you had that passion there that you really enjoyed creating that apparel, selling it to people, but you didn't see that the margins were there. So why now with First Health apparel? Is it working?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So the same problem was also in supplements, which I failed to see until I built this. So we put $100K into this, and when you're selling other people's products, there's a wholesale price, so it's not going to do as because they have to make their cut, then you make your cut, and then also the manufacturers of the actual brand makes their cut. So you can't control pricing doing what I did. So that didn't work. But initially, with Shredsville, I was literally 18, and like I didn't know what the fuck to do. I just was like, this is cool. I'm gonna compete soon. I was maybe 19, and I'm just gonna have some people wear. There was nothing about money.
Yeah.
And I sold it for like $20 a t-shirt, and I think it cost me 15. So it's
$5.
yeah.
Bad margins.
So yeah, it was like super bad margins. So coming into apparel, obviously I understood there was a long process of Shredsville to First Health, like 8-9 years really. I've had learned a lot of things about money, some from like school I guess, but also just my own interest into starting things, understanding money, like how to grow money, listening to a lot of mentors about money management, like all that, right? And then starting to like fix up your own debt. The margins worked for First Health apparel because I understand how to set those margins while I'm building a company that needs a logistics behind it, warehouse operations, a team, employees, and then also product costs, rent, shipping costs. Like there's so many things that go into it that like you need to set a base. Okay, this is our monthly operational costs, and this is the quality of the product that we can. That's the other thing. Like the $20 product is a $20 product. But like I'm trying my best to make the best products in the market. Like, not to like be cocky or anything, but like I'm confident that we can put like being the underdogs, like put our products beside one of the like top 3, and we'll be there. For sure. So I put my everything into designing the best products so then we can set certain prices. And then if we could sell a $60 product, that would be great. But then as inflation happens and there's operational costs, like you have to have like, I would say at least a 3x, 3 to 4x margins from your costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's solid.
Would Moz recommend someone who wants to pursue some sort of entrepreneurship type career? Would he suggest them go to school for business?
It depends. Like, okay, so Elise is a really good example for this because there's two types of entrepreneurs. Like, one that are just like in the dirt and like building shit and like don't care to be paid or whatever. Like, this is what they do. And then there's entrepreneurial mindset or tendencies where you become an entrepreneur. So being an entrepreneur, like Elise is like that, where you have a lot of ideas that you want to implement, you want freedom, you have creativity, you want to push yourself, but you're still okay to have like a salary, but like the option to grow in a company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just depends who you are.
I think you still got some type of value out of going to school for business, though. When it comes to financials, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I definitely did it because my parents have an expectation of me to be educated. I'm sure you can agree, all agree, educated in the society, and they want to feel like they grew educated kids too. So I get that, and maybe to a certain degree, like I learned social skills. I learned how to present. I learned how to, I guess, write tests and memorize things. At certain points, maybe economics or accounting, basic accounting and stuff, but for the most part, like, it was through just being in the dirt.
Like on the ground learning, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely
Kind of like learn as you went.
Yeah, absolutely. Just test, pivot, and just, you know, we make wrong decisions every single day.
Yeah.
Even, like, there's no, that going back to, like, being an entrepreneur, like, you're literally writing the script day by day.
Mm-hmm.
I had no plans to do any of this, but you do this, it works. You keep doing it, it stops working, then you go that way. Then you keep going and it works,
Yeah.
and then you stop.
Yeah.
You're
continuously creating your own narrative.
like a
Also
plateau in gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, it's a human thing to make mistakes. Everyone's gonna make them. I think there's a really good book I read as well a few years ago. It's called Failing Forward. I can't remember who the author is, but teaches you to just keep moving and going back to like being a perfectionist. I think that's a horrible thing that you can do to yourself. And like, I did that and I knew it was me being comfortable, that everything needed to be perfect before I make any moves. But if you just keep trying and you push something, you try this, you try that, something will land and you're growing each step of the way.
So what would you say is key to defeating perfectionism? Because a lot of people struggle with that.
Stop
I myself.
thinking about it and
Just
just
do it.
fucking go. Yeah, you spend no time thinking like, oh, what if, like, I think the biggest holdbacks is people judging you. Like, you're like, if I have the 300 followers on Instagram and half of them are probably friends and family, if I post something or I say something, like, what are they gonna think about me? But like, fuck it.
It's so true. Honestly, you know, I feel like the biggest thing about perfectionism is just feeling like other people are going to be judging you.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel that?
100%. Definitely limits you and limits how creative you can be. It limits how it makes you stagnant because you're not willing to defy what it is that may offend other people, even though that could elevate you. So you're kind of doing it to yourself.
Not even by offending other people, but I think it's more so just like being your true self.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that there's a lot of vulnerability in being your true self.
Yeah.
So how do you get over that?
You just say fuck it.
Yeah, you just gotta say whatever, man. Let's
You
do
just
it.
honestly, I feel like, and maybe that definitely comes with age too, because I know when I was younger and I was first starting out in my career, like, I felt like I was definitely a little hesitant and didn't necessarily have the self-confidence that I have now. But at a certain point, you just have to realize, like, this is your only life, and you just have to say fuck it.
Yeah,
And just go
yeah,
for
it's
it.
true. And you have to do the things that ultimately bring you peace, regardless of what people think about you. Because
Yeah.
it's your life to live, not theirs, right? So it all starts in the mind, man. I think being successful is constantly winning those inner dialogues that you have with yourself, that negative self-talk that you have with yourself. You need to constantly be defeating those negative inner dialogues, and it's hard. You know, sometimes they may overcome you, but I think if it's a war at the end of the day, if you win most of the battles, then you'll go forward in life, for sure.
That's a solid point.
Yeah.
That's really
That's a
solid.
short right there.
That is a short. No, you make a super good point, Shamar. Like, I feel that, you know, everyone deals with these things. Everyone deals with self-doubt, you know, having certain things that they definitely feel maybe more insecure about than others. they just keep to themselves. It's just a human thing, and there's no exclusivity. You know, everyone deals with it, and regardless of where you're at in your life, like, you probably will always have some type of self-doubt to a certain degree. But it's just a matter of knowing when to tune out certain negative thoughts. And honestly, like, anytime, you know, I've been going through stuff in my life, something that has really helped me in my mindset, like, move forward, is recognizing when a thought doesn't help me feel happy. So anytime I'm thinking something and, you know, it doesn't contribute in a positive way, I just tell myself, I literally immediately just shut that off. Because I'm like, all it's doing is just going to spiral you into a negative thought process, negative mindset. And you just have to get better at, like, recognizing when those thoughts happen and just shutting it off, and then going and doing something that makes you happy.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
You're ultimately answering those thoughts by neglecting them and not giving them any attention.
Yeah, and sometimes perfectionism leads you there, you know, leads you thinking that, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I have imposter syndrome, I can't be doing this. But you know what, it's just, like we were saying before, like, you just have to tell yourself, like, you're just on your journey, and you know, it doesn't have to be perfect today.
Yeah,
Maybe it never will be perfect.
Maybe not,
But as long as you're doing something and you're moving forward and you're being positive about it too.
You may think, oh, this person might think this of me, so therefore I'm not going to do this. If you let those things overcome you and you don't go and do that thing that you really want to do, you'll always be left with regret to some degree. Like, oh, what if I actually went for that? What if I actually did pursue that? What would have happened? What would have been the outcome? So it's not worth it.
Gotta start saying why not.
Yeah.
Not what if.
I'll do no
talk.
There you go.
Yay.
I kind of want to segue back into what we were talking about a little earlier, Maz. You kind of just lightly talked about it, but creating products, that's been something that we have been asked about a lot, like, especially from our customers.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to, like, size ranges and, you know, like, color ranges. And I feel like it's something that not everyone really talks about, like, when it goes into creating a collection. And I kind of want you to kind of give a bit more behind the scenes of what actually goes into a collection, limited things that we have available to us. And yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in the beginning, when apparel started, there was a limited capital. It took us $6,500 to create, I think, 350 or 400 units, which were split between flex leggings and flex racerback crop tops. I didn't know exactly what the right colors or the process or the look and feel of a product should be, but I knew what it would feel like. So I just tested out the first samples that I found off of Alibaba.
Okay.
You know, and there was a few manufacturers, one in Pakistan, one and two in China. I'm just gonna be transparent because why not? Tested out samples from all of them, and it turned out the ones who are still one of our current manufacturers had the best products in terms of how they do their seams. I look at details, how they do their seams, what was the fabric, was it like see-through at all, not, which turned out like later on when we did our lighter colors, there was see-through issues too. But in the beginning, I just tested out products based on just what they look like. And then once we get responses by selling them or like ambassadors wearing them, I got better understanding of what the market wants. You don't really know what the market wants when you're first starting out, so you just have to put something out. This is why you can't be a perfectionist, because imagine someone trying to make the perfect legging, and then the other guy's like, let me try that, let me try that, let me try that. Next thing you know, they're Gymshark, you know? But that guy's still struggling to make the perfect legging. So as I progressed, went to the next thing, and then now 3 years later, we have access to a lot more manufacturers, a lot more different types of fabrics, because we have a bigger budget to create stuff. I was talking about it earlier, how we have enhanced collection now, which is the highest order quantity to produce in the custom designs and fabric and the colors that we did. I could have never afforded that. Like, an average collection now costs us like minimum 50 grand. Anywhere to I've spent over like 100, 120, like Elevate was 120 grand. And that turned out to be a mistake as well, because you're like, oh, I overspent on things. So going back to like money management as well.
Why was Elevate a mistake?
It was a mistake because a lot of products that we launched before that and colors did super well, and we started becoming known over the past time span of 2 years that we're known as colors. So I'm like, let me create a collection for fall, winter, which is joggers and long sleeves, and like 12 or 13 colors. And the way we wanted to do it as well, like I'm actually wearing these joggers too, super nice joggers. The way they were designed, the fabric that we used, the colors that we did, the collection turned out to be a lot more expensive than I could even handle. But I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna take a risk because why not? It worked out. Turns out like we didn't need to do it at that. Like our strategies have changed up now as well. So in that sense, it was a mistake that we went too deep, but I still learned a lot and created like dope products.
Yeah, I also feel like with Elevate, the time it launched kind of like...
Oh yeah,
was-
so initially it was supposed to launch in October, November time, the latest, but because
2021.
2021 turned out that it launched in February this year, which was a little too late for those kind of products to come out, because you're kind of going into the spring season and more shorts or crop top sports bras are starting to come in. So being ahead of the market was always a struggle, and it's something that I've learned like over time, where you fail
So
forward.
timing's super important.
Timing is super important, and where to put your money is super important, and what kind of products you're making at the end of the day, because you're competing with a large sum of people making similar stuff, matters as well.
So what's the strategy to stand out apart from other brands who are making similar apparels?
That's a
similar
good
apparel?
question. Honestly, it's something that I think about every day, because I think it's always changing. Marketing strategies have changed, and the type of products have changed too. So what I can do is look at the top 5, top 3 companies that are making activewear and see what's wrong with it. So whether it's front seams, whether it's certain type of polyester for shorts, or whether it's like not enough compression around the waistband, or if it's like if a product is kind of itchy, or if it's the scrunch is like enough or too much.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah, are they doing tacky colors or good is there too much branding, or is it like, are their logos peeling, or what kind of fabric or materials are we using for logos? So I think keeping in mind of just making the best product in the market at a price that's competitive, but still slightly less than the top guys, is a sweet spot.
So
for
you're
us.
learning from the brands who are at the top of the market, and learning from what they don't do well.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like ever since Elevate launched back in February this year or January this year, there's been so many things that you've taken away from that launch, because we had a big gap of time between Elevate and our next collection, which was Onyx.
It was
which
ribbed.
No, it wasn't. No, Elevate.
September. Ribs was when I first started working.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ribs
okay,
was
scratch that.
September.
of last
It was
Yeah.
Elevate, and then it was Onyx in May or June.
Ooh.
It was in the late
Something like that, I think
Yeah,
you're
late
right, yeah.
spring. And after that, you switched up your strategy. And I don't know, like, if you want to talk about that a bit, but I think
Yeah.
that is super important. Like, you took a lot of learnings from that Elevate launch and really changed the game here, which has also reflected in what our, sales have been too.
Mhm. Yeah, this goes back to just like being self-aware, whether it's in business or at the gym. Like once you are doing something, if you keep pressing 135s on bench press constantly, and we stuck to that, at one point it's not going to work. But like if you stick to that, do you think like many people just stick to that, or you got to change? You got to start doing dumbbell isolated presses.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a fitness metaphor.
Yeah, because we get that. It literally, I feel like fitness is super in line with running a business in terms of discipline, in terms of things that you need to change to have the physique that you want. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's like a huge goal too. It took me 10 years to be like this in fitness, and I'm nowhere near. And it took us 3 years to do this in business. So it's actually, I think, harder in the fitness because you got to see what kind of food you're putting in. You know, there's so
See how
much.
your body responds to certain foods and
Yeah.
what works for you and your specific body type, etc. Yeah. I think with fitness, there's so much components of fitness that you can utilize in other components, aspects of your life, and like you're saying, business.
Yeah.
You need to have consistency and you need to have discipline to have competent business. For someone like you who was into fitness initially,
Yeah.
you kind of had those two things underneath you prior to coming into business, so that could be why this worked, you know?
For sure, if fitness wasn't a thing in my life today, none of this would exist. Like,
There you go.
yeah, and Amar just said like progressive overload. The same thing goes into business as well. Like making that Elevate collection mistake, going too big without certain things like funds and stuff, or if the market proves the product is really good, switching up that strategy into what we did this summer and launching 7-8 fucking collections like fast. Like we pumped out so many collections, and I think that brought so much more people in the local community to test out our products, get feedback, make more products, and to where we're coming now in the next like Faith collection, the men's collection, and then the new enhanced product. Like that 3 year that we put into designing and making mistakes and creating the next product like turned out to be enhanced collection. So it's a process.
But also, like, when we launched Elevate, like, you went hard in launching 10 different colors, I think it was, in that collection. You were super confident in the product itself, but it kind of, like, didn't land at the proper time. And there was a lot of investment into multiple different, there's 10 different colors in that collection. That's a big collection for
Yeah,
2
12,
different products. Yeah, for 2 different products. So what did you do different in the summer that really changed the game and perspective for you? Because I think you've launched, like 6 or 7 new product or new collections.
Yeah.
So that something changed there.
So what changed is I knew not to go too big into 1 or 2 products, like a bottom and top in multiple colors, even though that worked in the past. But it worked in the past because we did 3 to 5 colors, and because that's all we could afford. So as soon as we could afford 12 or 10,
You did it.
I'm like, this is what we're known for, so we go in.
What's your interest in? Insert
Insert song.
That's smart.
Stop this. Stop this.
Yeah, and then understanding that I wasn't the biggest, like I love the long sleeves, but I think there's improvements we can make in certain colors looking back at it, and the design of the product and its fitting as well. So it's better to test out in smaller color options and more products, which if a design isn't good, you're always able to, but also practicing making solid designs every single time. It's easier to make a color than to make a product, make a new design, make a new legging. Like, so switching that up, I think this summer, and pumping out like less colors, a little less quantity, but more products faster, helps me become a better designer.
Well, so if you start off in smaller batches, you can and expose that to the audience. They can tell you what they're interested in, what they're not interested in. So if the red isn't selling as much, you're like, okay, maybe you won't restock that. But right now neutrals are in, so all the brown shades, everyone's like, that sells out so fast. And then I get emails being like, when are you restocking it? When can I pre-order it? And I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to get in more of these colors. And that's gonna sell so fast if you order like a huge bulk of just that color, even if it's 1 or 2, like restocking that shade only, like it's gonna get going, and then everyone's gonna hear about it, and then suddenly there you are.
Yeah, no, that's a really solid point, and it's something that I've learned as we grow into this, or I grow into my role as well, to see what season it is, pushing out the right products, like the right sports bras or crop tops or biker shorts in summer and not in winter. Unless your market is in a place where it's only summer, then that's okay, because now we're expanding our market into the States as well. Like 30-35% of our customers are from States, and partially in UK as well. But still understanding through feedback, like Andrew is saying, is super important to grow, because now that we're doing this Black Friday restock, like you were there and I was getting your inputs in, because you see the constant emails coming in, so you're one-to-one with customers, what do they want? So we were very specific of what kind of restocks to do for this Black Friday that we know are going to sell out.
So the restocks were correlated to the feedback we got.
Mhm.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And which is weird that we've noticed a lot of people are still requesting biker shorts now too, which we're getting into such cold weather, but everyone wears biker shorts to work out, so it's an all year round
Mhm.
product,
Yeah,
which
piece of
people
clothing.
love and are like, we're sold out of all biker shorts right now, and every time we restock, it's gone.
Yeah, and plus, as you could probably see in the orders as well, that we're doing a lot more in Florida or Texas.
Texas,
Mhm.
we're huge in Texas, and Florida too, we're getting there.
Yeah, Cali.
Yeah, I see.
Cali, a lot
It's hot
of
weather
New
over
York,
there.
but New York's
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice to like kind of switch up the strategies and continuously fail forward. Yeah, you can always refer to that honestly. Like, there's no perfect rhythm to anything. You just wake up and you go, you test and you go. And I'm
Yeah.
sure like this is me in like a business perspective, but from your perspective or your perspective, whether like I was in school, there's always something to learn. You can start your day off and you're gonna think it's gonna be the best day and things are gonna be thrown at you and you just gotta figure out how
Yeah.
to move forward.
just life.
Exactly. Gotta adjust. Gotta make adjustments.
Yeah, for
Gotta
sure.
be able to improvise.
Yeah,
For sure.
We really improvised
Yeah,
today.
a lot of improvising.
Oh, it's been a long day. What time is it?
It's
Late.
9:47.
Improvisation
yeah.
is key. Yeah.
Like, we've been at it since
Yeah,
11.
I've been up
Since the AM.
Since like 9.
Yeah.
Eight actually. Yeah.
What did you do today, Sue?
Oh my gosh, I did homework all day.
4?
Forensics.
Forensics, huh?
Forensics. I
What are
just
you
want-
currently working on? You're showing me something.
I'm doing a footwear comparison report. So I just have to compare footprint pictures and match characteristics so I can say this footprint matches this one, that guy did it. And then we put him in jail. But if I mess up, I can't mess up, or else we're putting the wrong person in jail.
Oh, no.
And,
Oh,
and then
no.
I lose a job, so.
And then didn't you say that Air Force Ones?
Oh my gosh, yeah. My professors who were cops, they tell us that Air Force Ones and Vans are the most popular shoe for robbers.
Vans?
Criminals. Vans.
Shit.
Like that bottom
holy.
sole, so popular.
Oh no.
So
my God.
if you're ever looking to rob someone,
Police are gonna knock a first house door and arrest us.
don't be wearing Vans or Air Force Ones.
Dang.
Makes
Black
me
Air
feel so
Force Ones
basic
though,
though
right?
now. Like, does everyone own the shoe?
I don't.
Yeah, Vans are so common though.
So common.
So like.
Well, like
is
the
that
bottom of it
Vans?
is so
The like
simple.
hexagons. Or
Yeah, like
whatever,
little
yeah,
squares,
yeah.
like so easy to tell which.
What do you think is more common, Vans or Air Force Ones?
I think Air Force Ones.
Air Force
Air
Ones.
Force Ones.
Every
100%.
person has one.
Really? But Air Force Ones are just one style. Vans has so many different like colors.
Yeah,
that-
but the whole in style is a white
Yeah, just
sneaker,
everyone-
and they're
if-
comfy.
Yeah.
True.
And
I think
everyone
if you're
needs a
going-
white comfy sneaker.
Yeah.
I find Air Force Ones slightly uncomfortable.
Okay, as I'm wearing them right now.
Do you own a pair?
I do.
Like,
I
aren't they-
think everybody
They're
owns
my
a pair.
walking
Yeah.
shoes. They're
I
my
think they're
traveling
comfortable.
shoes because they're so comfortable to me.
But like the bottom sole is like so thick, I feel like I'm walking on like a thick brick or something.
Yeah, but Vans have no support. They're a flat shoe. They're meant for skateboarding.
Yeah,
They're not
but you
meant
know
for
what I
walking.
think the thing with
But I
Air
like
Force
that.
Ones, they might be. I agree with you. I think they're uncomfortable, but they're simple and just go with everything, bro. I can wear Air Force Ones with cargo pants. I can wear them with my Lulu joggers. I can wear them with
They
shorts.
match everything. That's
Yeah.
why
I can
they're
wear
so
them in
popular.
winter.
Yeah,
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 you can wear them with jeans. They're just simple and just go with everything.
So are
A lot-
Vans.
Yeah, but they're not like
White
they're too
Vans?
I don't think they're
flat.
as
too
versatile
No, I
as
don't
the Air
think so.
Force One.
Elise, what do you think?
I like Ultra Boosts.
That's because you worked at Adidas.
Biased.
And Converse
They're
too.
super-
You guys like
and
Converse.
Converse.
Yes,
I
actually
feel like
scratch
that's the
that.
stable shoe for First Health is a Converse.
Yeah,
For
it's
these.
Converse.
It's funny because I think Converse are the most uncomfortable, bro.
They
They
are.
give you blisters and shit.
But they have certain ones that have better like insoles.
I've never had a blister wearing Converse.
Really?
No.
I think you have to break them in first.
I have never had a blister. I find them really comfortable. I don't know.
Goal is to do a First Health collab with
Oh
Converse.
my god.
Imagine.
No,
Let's
Air
do
Force
it.
One.
Don't go crazy.
Dream big. Air Force One.
Them too, but I
No
would wear the
Converse.
Converse collab.
The Converse
Yeah.
First
Yeah,
Health.
high tops.
First Health
High
ones.
tops.
Yeah, with just like our logo.
Jeez. Fire. With the FH on the side.
Yeah.
I like that, man.
Let's make it happen. Manifest it.
Do you want to briefly discuss our staff hoodies?
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's go.
I've been requesting staff hoodies.
Yeah, so there's a Faith collection coming, and after the product is completed, the whole team wants these staff hoodies that we don't have yet. So on the back, I'm gonna write staff, and hand it over.
Yeah, excited about
Yeah, I'm excited about that too.
that.
Have
Yeah.
you talked about the new collection?
Yo, I should have ordered an extra one. I should give you one too.
Yeah, bro. At this point,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, I actually might message the manufacturer
No,
and
it's
be
gotta
like, can
be-
you add one more?
It's gotta be Camera Crew.
Yeah.
BTS.
No, because that's the band, so it just doesn't make sense.
So yeah, tell us more about the Faith collection, Maz. I know I'm excited for that one.
Faith collection. So we're doing a loungewear collection of hoodies and quarter zips. I'm inspired by the brand Essentials or Fear of God recently. I like their designs and their fabrics and the details they've been doing. So I'm testing something, not exactly, but something out that kind of matches up to that level of quality. So we're doing some neutral colors in those two products. We're doing a little bit of oversized look. We use 100% French terry cotton fabric, so it's super soft, especially for the fall time, winter time coming in. And then we have certain details in our rubber logo, First Health, Faith on the back as well. So yeah, I'm super excited for that.
So when is that expected to drop, man?
Expected to.
Yeah, well, it's currently in production. We've already finalized all colors. We finalized the final products of the details with the logo placements, all that, the sizing. The only thing that's left is the final in black color. The Faith detail I added, I had to switch up some a certain location so it faces like that. Faith here versus like here or there, because then you can't see it.
Oh, yeah.
So top of your wrist?
It's kind
Yeah.
of on the side a little.
Yeah, on the see, because that one's like slightly on the side.
It's on the
So we're
side,
gonna-
so it needs to go like
Yeah, so
here.
this is a
Sample.
sample, but it's gonna be different than this.
It's gonna be different.
Yeah, that's the first sample that came in. That logo style we're not doing anymore. That placement of the Faith we've changed up. We've made them into a rubber logo. There's some details on the back as well. So once that comes in, which is 7 to 10 days, we're gonna wear it. We'll test it out, put some up for early access and pre-orders as well. And then from that point on, I'd say like 3.5 weeks, we got it.
What goes into the process of creating a collection? How many times do you think you have to see a sample before the entire collection goes into final production?
It depends on the type of fabrics and collections we're coming out with. When initially the performance collection was coming out, which is more like the Align fabrics, the nylon spandex, like buttery soft type of feels. Initially, it took me a long time to figure that out, but once we got those on point, it was easier to create more products in that fabric. So different styles of crop tops or sports bras and shorts and whatnot. So then it doesn't take as long, but when we're dabbling into a new style of fabric like the Enhanced collection, to get that subtle scrunch effect correctly, you have to test out different fabrics, like I was saying. So that process took a couple years. But now I know to create an Enhanced biker shorts only took a month. So that's another thing. You could learn some. This is like a life lesson actually, because you could feel like nothing is moving and years go by, and then literally if you don't quit the next month, like there's a big jump. So to create this product of biker shorts in a month, like me 2 years ago could not even imagine that, because I didn't know how. I saw it in the market, kind of like it, but I didn't know how to create it. Like what fabric goes into it, how do I figure out the sizing, like around the thighs that's not too tight and stuff, and other stuff that goes into it as well, like financially. It's like, can I afford this? Can I add these details? So going into Faith collection too, it's costing a lot more to make that product, but there's so much detail that went into designing that. I'm willing to put it in, and it happened a lot quicker. So I would just say it depends on the product and what I'm testing.
And just based on the new line, what do you say the feedback's like? What's it been so far from?
You guys tell me,
Customers.
how is it?
Stunning.
Yeah, Enhanced.
Honestly,
So
so
good.
good. What would you say?
I mean, I've never tried them.
Have you tried
No,
the
but you've
Enhanced?
seen
I've never
them.
tried the Enhanced.
No, but
No, they
you've
look
seen
amazing
them.
though. They look
You've
good.
seen them.
Selling
terms
out.
of-
We're already
visually,
sold
they're
small
on point.
latte,
Yeah.
small rocket.
dude, that's another sign. Those colors, the browns,
The
the
brown- I'm
mochas,
telling
the
you, the
lattes,
neutrals,
they're
the
selling out.
neutrals.
Where is it in the Leo T, bro?
Yeah, I know.
Neutrals are it.
The neutrals definitely.
I was gonna ask, if say someone was to be interested in starting their own clothing line, how much would you say that they should put aside money-wise to invest in a collection to sell to people?
So there's a couple ways you can go about this. You can either just start, if you just want to learn the system, what is it like building a website and selling a product online, you could just drop ship. And you can go on AliExpress.
But
or
say they don't want to drop ship and they actually want to create their own brand.
their own brand. Anywhere between 3 to 10,000, depending on
Okay.
how much they want to put out there. I think should be enough.
And from when you were first starting First Health Apparel, and obviously there's such things as MOQs, which are minimum order quantities, and you also get that based off certain colors that are available, and also if you're trying to create custom colors. What's kind of like a base understanding or a baseline start for like MOQs? Like if you were to order, say, like 4 different colors in a hoodie.
Yeah, if you just want to start out as a fitness apparel company on social media, I would literally just pick a good bottom and a good top. But you gotta know, if you are going into the women's market, then pick stuff that a women would wear that's currently trending and would actually fit well. Like, don't just create something stupid. So the $3,000 to $10,000 that you're investing, like if that's all you have, like be fucking smart about it.
Gotta be wise.
Do your research, understand what's in the market, understand what the top 5 are doing, what colors, going back to what the season is, and if you can afford doing what you're doing too. Don't put yourself in a situation where you don't know if it's gonna work and you end up fucking yourself over because you've quit your job and then use your last 10,000. You don't know what you're doing and now you're screwed. So definitely like keep that in mind as well.
So probably just starting small and then getting the feel for what customers are saying, and then you can then kind of grow from there.
Absolutely.
Cool. I think that's some good info because I
Excellent.
think there's a lot of people out there that definitely are interested in starting their own apparel brand, whether that's fitness apparel or even just like hoodies, t-shirts,
Streetwear.
things like that,
Yeah.
streetwear. You know, it's
Yeah.
something that, and obviously not everyone is going to succeed at it, but just those that are
Because they're
actually-
lazy.
Yeah. Okay.
It's true.
That guy.
Like literally, it actually irritates me because at the gym, there's some people that will come up and they're like, I'm starting an apparel brand, or I'm starting a company online, or I found a manufacturer. Bro, like, okay, then do something about it. Like, what do you want? And then, would give me 2 cents of what I should do, but you haven't done shit. So why the hell are you telling me what to do when you haven't invested $1 into what you want to do?
So you're
You
saying
know?
sometimes people come up to you at the gym and ask you for,
Yeah, or like DM or whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
like, then just do something about it, you
Yeah.
know? If you want to start the business online, then get serious and actually spend money and energy and time and like sacrifice your Netflix and all that BS that you do at night to actually like make it happen.
and
Shots fired.
Yeah.
No, but that's actually really true. Like a lot of people have thrown their 2 cents about what they want, and there's been so many times I know that people have come up to you and be like, who's your link for this or what's that? And you're
Yeah,
like,
oh, they know what product, what fabrics we're using, or who's
Yeah.
your manufacturer? Like, why the fuck would I tell you what my manufacturers are? Like, I had to put in the 3-year grind to get where I'm at. Like, you think you can just skip steps, bro?
yeah, so people want handouts.
Yeah, people want handouts, and that's why most of them fail, and that's why if I lay it all out, even to where I got, like, no one's gonna fucking do it, because they're all just gonna listen and fucking go watch an episode of something stupid.
And you were saying that you put in X amount of hours when you first started this. After your part-time job or full-time job, you still went home and worked on this.
100%. I did not have a life. I went to school or I skipped classes to test different things out. I'll go where First Health was. Worked part-time, spent time at the gym where you should be training. I'm fucking networking in the bathroom. Like, can you say the same? I'm selling dopamine in the bathroom. Can you say the same? You're fucking probably talking to chicks. So if you want to start a business, create the product, invest the money into it, and then go network with the right people, sell it to customers, do all the dirty work, go walk at different gyms. Like, are you willing to actually put in the fucking work? You know?
I hope the
Sacrifice.
people listening to this podcast are, because you are a prime example of, you know, when you do actually put in the work, this is where you can get to. And I know we have a like such a far way to go with First Health and even just growing this podcast. But the fact that we're here doing this today and where each of us were, especially you, Maz, you know,
Yeah.
5 years ago,
Yeah.
you know.
Honestly, I feel like switching the script slightly, like we're all chatting here and we're giving our 2 cents and I'm sharing my opinions and stuff too, but like the people that are watching or will start to watch as the podcast grows too, I hope they don't just sit there and just listen to us like one of the other podcasts just for entertainment purposes and actually get something out of it, because just with First Health, why I started it is to create a community that shares the right perspective, the right mindset, wears the right products, builds themselves. So through Elevate, like everything that we're sharing, I hope like everybody actually does something about it too, and eventually like doesn't just keep watching podcasts. Because one thing that I did before any of this is I literally sat on YouTube and watched Gary Vee or other Greg Carter, whatever, for fucking years, and it did nothing. I had like some analysis paralysis BS where I'm like reading and learning and reading and learning, and I think we're conditioned like that with everybody went to school, uni, like raise our hands, like only speak when we're told to. It's yeah,
That's what
because she
you're
does
saying.
as you do that, and it's so fucking annoying that we're conditioned that way to not do what the fuck we want.
Yeah, just go and do it.
You know,
Yeah.
so just go and do it.
Yeah. So there's definitely a balance between researching and then actually going and doing something. That has to be balanced out.
People, when they're in uni, most of them are just, including myself back then, just fucking around. So certain things about your life should be correct, whether it's starting a business or getting the right job or your career or your fitness right. Fix your fucking mindset.
Yeah, you gotta buckle down. And then by doing that, you can attract the right people in your life along the way. You know, that's for sure, because you're gonna want people with a similar mindset as your supporting cast, and that's just gonna help elevate you even more when you have a good team behind you.
There you go, guys. That's episode 2. We're closing Elevate Talk, and
See you next week.
see you next week. Oh, don't forget, if we're playing it up, like, subscribe, just help the analytics.
Help the
If you want to hear more of this, like genuinely, because we are spending some time, we're putting production money into this, we're hiring editors, we have friends and family here, and like
Send us
putting a
questions.
lot of effort into like opening up and being better speakers for you as well. So I just hope that if you see all that you just like and share.
Also send
Use
questions.
code
And
Elevate
send
Talk.
questions, yeah.
And use code Elevate Talk on First Health.
Send questions where?
If you have any questions and want to know any more info specifically about like business, life, fitness, anything like that, send any questions to theelevatetalk@gmail.com. We'll be sure to answer them on the next pod.
Yeah, or you can write any of these questions on our social as well.
Yeah, which is the Elevate Talk on Insta.
Peace.
No mercy for you, no worries for you. That Game of Thrones, go Cersei on you. I flipped the script, I rolled the dice.